Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Crypto Rundowns. I'm Romeo from Marketing Crypto, and today we are going to talk about Microstrategy, a company that has put all of its chips on Bitcoin. In a report, Michael Saylor, the president of Microstrategy, announced on Twitter that he has bought another 5,445 Bitcoins at an average price of $27,053, and the total amount he paid was $147.3 million, all in cash. In total, MicroStrategy currently holds 158,245 Bitcoins, which was acquired at an average price of $29,582. That makes the aggregate purchase price for MicroStrategy's total Bitcoin holdings at $4.68 billion. Now, obviously, the average price they have bought all of these Bitcoins is hovering around $29,000. Now, Bitcoin price is currently at $26,000. That means they have an unrealized loss of $550 million. An unrealized loss basically means your portfolio is at a loss, but you have not sold anything from your portfolio, therefore you haven't realized the loss. Now think about it from this angle. Right now, Bitcoin is at $26,000. But what happens when Bitcoin goes as high as $100,000 or even beyond that? Once Bitcoin touches the price of $100,000, MicroStrategy's profit will cross $12 billion. For comparison, it took Netflix more than 20 years to book a profit of 12 billion or more, and we are going to have a Netflix sized company within a couple of years in crypto just based on Bitcoin. That is a huge news. It is very clear that Saylor is building his empire on top of Bitcoin. One of my favorite quotes from Michael Saylor is, "Google is what happens when we pull information energy on a software network." Everyone understands this. Bitcoin is what happens when we pull monetary energy on a software network. Few understand this, and we really need to understand it. And moving forward to our next news, it seems like an Argentine oil company has actually started to understand it. So local media reported on September 24th that an Argentine oil company named Tech Petrol will launch its first gas-powered crypto mining facility in Los Toldos, located north of Vaca Muerta in Argentine Patagonia. The company is planning to drill at least 35,000 barrels a day. But the problem is they can't move that much gas. The CEO of the company, Ricardo Marcos, said, "Given our inability to release the gas into environment, we have opted to implement cryptocurrency mining operations." The primary rule that you need to understand about energy production is that producing energy is not really difficult. You can do it from non-renewable sources like thermal and coal and all of that stuff. You can do it from renewable energy sources like you have got your wind, solar, even water. But the problem is you produce that energy in a place. Then the next concern is that you need to transport that energy in order to be distributed either in residential areas or in factories and other commercial regions. But the problem is that how are you exactly going to transport an amount of energy? Say if you are producing a huge amount of energy from a hydropower on top of a mountain, how are you going to get that energy down? Say if you're producing a huge amount of energy through windmill operations 100 miles from the city, how are you going to take that energy and transport it 100 miles from where it was produced? It's not exactly impossible, it's just financially unfeasible. You're going to take a lot of loss, and that's simply not worth it. So here's what companies are doing, and when other companies actually realize the potential, they also should be doing, is that whatever energy they can produce, they should redirect their energy that they produce into mining bitcoins or other cryptocurrencies, because that's how it's going to work. A huge amount of energy is wasted every year because lack of transportation. A recent paper published by the Institute of Risk Management stated that Bitcoin mining can reduce global emission by up to 8% by 2030 by converting world's wasted methane emissions into less harmful emissions. So there is something there. I'm not just talking about existing energy companies. Like, a lot of energy production plans are generally quashed at the very beginning because there is simply no transportation. You can now produce energy in the middle of nowhere out of any source that you want to, and then you convert that energy into Bitcoin. That is exactly why Bitcoin is going to be so valuable, because it's raw energy absorbed by an asset. There is nothing like it. There was nothing like it. Now let's talk about the final topic of the day, which is Binance is leaving Russia. I have covered Binance several times in Crypto Rundown episodes for multiple reasons. One of the reasons is that the US regulators like SEC, CFTC, and even European regulators were very concerned. They were threatening to take actions against Binance because they still had operations ongoing in Russia. But after a lot of pressure, Binance finally had to relinquish its grip on Russian crypto market. The newly built exchange called COMEX bought the entirety of Binance's operation in Russia. So there is no going back for Binance into Russia. And now what happens to the existing Binance users in Russia? To manage a seamless offboarding process, Binance has said that they will be giving up to 1 year to users to basically take all of their funds from Binance and go to COMEX. I'm not sure if it's going to be a manual process or an automatic process, but whatever it is, COMEX has Binance's full support. All of it makes sense. Binance had to leave it. But the problem is such a newly built crypto exchange with virtually no experience. Can they take the operational pressure that Binance was handling for years? Now, if it doesn't go well, whether be it the offboarding process, the user experience and everything else, so even if I assume that the whole offboarding, onboarding process goes very smooth, users don't have any problem, all of their funds are safe, can they handle the pressure that Binance was handling? That's simple. Other than that, we will see what happens, because Binance is still in neck deep in terms of regulatory troubles. There was some court, the SEC was trying to look into Binance US's company structure and everything, but an US court denied that. A lot of things are happening in Binance. I already covered that a lot of high level employees left Binance, and they actually made a few remarks about how it's awfully similar to FTX and what happened to FTX a year ago. If you want to check out that video, here is a link. You can go and do that. And that's about it. If you're watching the video on YouTube, I'll really appreciate a like and a subscribe. And if you're watching on X, then a like, a repost and a follow will be highly appreciated in no particular order. And that's about it. Have a good day.